Alrighty, well, hi everyone, and once again, I decided to go ahead and make a video of me doing another tier list. Since making my last fighting game tier list was kind of fun, I thought I'd go ahead and do another one. Um, this time about a subject that I'm fairly passionate about, music. So, and then in the background, you'll get another little peep into my musical taste. This is gonna be a 3 album playlist. Starting with this one here called Basic Dungeon, Tunnels and Treasures. This is what I refer to as Dungeons and Dragons synth. You could also call it chiptune music as well. Um, Considering how many genres this guy has in here, I'm guessing Dungeon synth is probably gonna be in here, possibly chiptune as well, but we'll see. But the way I the way I have this tier list set up is the top one's going to be discard pile. If it's a genre that I'm not familiar with, and or if I don't recognize the thumbnail that he has in these, this is where it's going to go. And there is a lot of subgenres. I mean, excuse me. There's a lot of genres. There's a lot of subgenres. There's a lot of subgenres, and there's a lot of subgenres, and so on and so forth. If I mean, I love me some obscure music, but some of the genres in here are way obscure, even for me. So, and if it's something like that, I'm just gonna throw up here in the discard pile because I can't keep up with all of them. But otherwise, fairly self-explanatory. If it's you know if it's S tier, then it's fucking S tier. Like I absolutely love it. Um, and then you got Orange, good solid music genre. Fucking S tier, but I intended this as kind of a cross. It's on one end, yeah, it's fucking S tier, but on the other hand, the genre is also ass. So it's got like both elements. That's where they're gonna go in here. Um, eh, genres. They're barely listenable, and then you got the bad genres down here at the bottom. So, but once again, right now the music I'm gonna have in the background is Basic Dungeon, and as I'm trying to keep my videos ad free, I'm trying to stick with music that I have played on these videos before, and they didn't get me copyright claimed. So, yeah, just trying to stick with what works. Play, please. Okay, close enough. So, abstract hip hop. I never even heard of that one. Afrobeat. I guess African Black Power music. I guess. I've only heard the name. I never actually listened. Alt dance. Never heard of it and don't recognize the thumbnail. Alt metal. Not a clue on that. Alt rock. Thumbnail is either Radiohead or REM. That it's all right. You know, if I was forced to listen to something, it probably alt rock because I've listened to worse. Ambient's fucking S tier in and of itself, but the problem is there's gonna be some of the ambient music out there. It's just one note. Maybe some ocean waves and waterfalls in the background or something. When it's something like that, I mean, that's ass. Not to mention fucking lazy. I mean, hell, even I could have played something like that. Just give me a cheap Casio keyboard. I'll hold down one note. But aside from that, though, I mean, if there's, if there's like, some kind of cohesive rhythm, cohesive melody, I mean, yeah, the stuff's great. Art pop. Going up there, I don't recognize the thumbnail, and I never heard of that genre. Art rock. I think Talking Heads falls into this category as well. And then you got a thumbnail is Lou Reed. I forget the name of the album, but I recognize it immediately. Sunday morning, hang it over, or something like that. Or it's got that heroin. It's my life. It's my life. It's got that song in there too. Avant folk. Never heard of it. Avant-garde jazz. Is that Miles Davis? I don't know the thumbnail. I've heard of avant-garde jazz, but I don't recall me ever hearing any music like it. I've heard of free jazz. Heard a little bit of free jazz. I'll talk more on that later. Avant-garde metal. Well, it's Mr. Bungle, so yeah, that's some good stuff right there. Then avant-garde. Now, the thumbnail is The Residents, my all-time favorite band, but even then, their stuff is very hit or miss. It just, I mean, the music they play is the greatest I've ever heard. But at the same time, some of the other stuff they play is total ass, like just really awful. And their visual stuff, you probably want to steer clear of that. Cause yeah, no, that. And I need to do something here real quick. Okay, I have to fix something here real quick. Oh, okay, that's just part of the album. I thought YouTube was messing up. Yeah, I'm still working on something else here. Okay. So, but a Baroque pop. I never heard of that one. Berlin School. I've heard some dungeon synth having Berlin School aspects in it, but as a genre, I've never heard of it. Big Beat. Never heard of it. Black metal. Fucking S tier. It's my favorite kind of metal. Or I should say, these days, it's my favorite kind of metal. I mean, back in the day, I love me some Pantera, love me some Sepultura, that kind of stuff. Classic metal, like Black Sabbath, not so much. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, listenable stuff, but definitely not a first choice. But black metal, yeah, that shit is awesome. Especially the Norwegian black metal. I mean, over there, they live the life. They burn down churches and they kill gay people and stuff. So yeah, so black metal is to Norway what rap is, or what hip hop is to this country. It's pretty much a lifestyle, it's a culture. So blues rock. Sounds like an oxymoron, or it sounds like a contradiction in terms, but Blind Lemon or whatever it's called.
All I can say is that my wife is pretty plain.
I like watching the puddles gather rain. That one. Um, it's all right. I'm leaning slightly towards it being ass though, because much of that kind of music, at least as far as Blind Lemon goes, that gets played every day at my job. So I really don't care to hear it anymore. And that's probably going to be something else too. If a genre is too mainstream, if it's especially these days where I often have to hear it every day at work, it's definitely going to be ass. So, but I so yeah, I'm probably gonna be putting some stuff down here that's gonna make people go, what? How dare you put that genre down there? You know, that kind of thing. So, but like I said, I've got my own unique reasons. Anyway, moving along. Canterbury scene, never heard of it. Chamber folk, never heard of that. Chamber pop. Chiptune. As a genre, in fact, you're listening to some right now, it's fucking S tier. But I mean, I grew up with video games, you know, ever since I was a little kid, and so lots of chiptune music and those. So again, as a whole, I freaking love it. And classical music, it's all right. Contemporary folk, I don't. I mean, I'll listen to folk. I'll listen to folk music, but if contemporary means modern folk, I'm just gonna put it up here. Somebody's gonna have to play me some examples. Dark ambient, fucking love it. Yeah, so glad they have that in the list. But actually, whoa, I take that back. I'm gonna have to pull it down here. Again, kind of like ambient. And this is also gonna be one of the rare exceptions that most everybody else that do tier lists, they actually have within those tiers, they have their own little tier list. Like they'll put the best one in that tier on the far left, and then the worst ones on the right. For the most part, all of my tiers are round table tiers. So they're basically equal. They're all great in their own way, and they all suck in their own way. But this is gonna be one of those exceptions where, on one end, I fucking love dark ambient. When it's not played like when it's not played with like one single note for super long periods, then that shit gets old. I mean, it becomes ass. So, I mean, again, like regular ambient, if it's got like a cohesive melody, cohesive rhythm, then it's fucking S tier. Dark Cabaret, never heard of it. Dark Wave, sounds familiar. Dark Techno? I can't think of any bands off the top of my head, and I don't recognize the thumbnail, so I just put it up here. Death Industrial. No, I know about industrial metal. I never heard of Death Industrial though. Death metal. If it's what I'm thinking of, like Megadeth. I want to say Sepultura could be one. Slayer could be another one. If those bands are considered death metal, then yeah, it's good solid metal music. And I'm gonna take a drink of some Arizona green tea. dream pop. And I've heard the name, don't recognize the thumbnail. Drone metal. Never heard of it. But if it's drone music, I can't think of any bands, and the thumbnail doesn't ring a bell. I'll put it up there. Drone music. I'm just gonna say it's ass for the same reasons I said about ambient and dark ambient. If all drone music is just gonna be, then no, I am not gonna be into it at all. East Coast hip hop. Okay, this is gonna be a very tough one for me to. But for the most part, I think this is gonna be another exception here. But it's, I'm putting it at the top. I'm not a real big fan of hip hop in general, unless it's old school. But I mean, I respect it. I mean, like I said, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle. But as far as the music goes, I'm, for the most part, not into it. I wish there was a way you could put asterisks on some of these. Electro House. This seems like a redundant term right here, because I think house music is already a type of electronica. Let's just put it up there. Experimental hip-hop. Never heard of that kind of rap. Folktronica, no idea. Freak folk. I wish I knew her name. But she was classified as something like, some days are long gone, something or another. You know, just her and a guitar. I mean, she sounds cool as hell. So, but otherwise, I don't really know much about freak folk to make a stronger decision, so I'll just go ahead and put it up there. Free jazz. The little I've heard of it, man, I could have played, man, I could have just grabbed a saxophone and played something, but like I said, this is gonna be borderline ass and discard pile. I've heard little bits and pieces here and there, but it's like they're just going up there and playing shit at random. So, yeah. Punk. Love me some punk. Funkadelic. I think I have a few of their albums. I don't have any of, hang on. I don't have any, Bootsy Collins albums, but I have listened to his first two. So, Glam Rock. It's alright. Grindcore. Let me put this down a little tiny bit. If it's anything like Cannibal Corpse, then I'm gonna go ahead and say, actually no. It's good stuff, but nothing I want to listen to for long periods. Group. Well, Pantera's vulgar display of power, but I always knew them to be thrash metal, not groove metal. So, if there is a thrash metal in here, I'll go ahead and rate it, but I'm just gonna put it there though. Now, if it was thrash metal, I probably would have rated it higher, but to me, Pantera isn't really groove metal. And grunge, just gonna say it's ass, if for no other reason than they play a lot of Nirvana at my work. I'm sick of hearing it. Hard rock. It's ass. Sick of hearing it. Hardcore punk. Gotta put it down here. It's fucking S tier, but of the stuff I heard, Black Flag, a little bit of the Misfits, I can't, it just, it's another one of those things where, even I could have played this. Oh, pause. Fat finger and stuff. Pause. Okay, apparently that was the end of the album. So, the next one that's on the list here is going to be Depressive Silence. And all this stuff here is going to be definitely Dungeon Synth. And I believe this album here is to Dungeon Synth what Miles Davis's kind of blue album was to the jazz world. So, it's one of the most recognizable in the Dungeon Synth genre. Harsh noise. If the ass side of ambient was anything to go by here, it's gotta be ass. Heavy metal. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it here. Or I really wish they would have I really wish they would have called this classic metal. Because if they would have called it classic metal, it'd be fucking S tier. I mean, I don't really care for the music these days, but you know, you gotta. I mean, it's the granddaddy of them all, so you gotta have it up here. It laid the foundation. But I guess, yeah, this is gonna be a very difficult for we. This is gonna be a difficult one for me to call. So, I guess, since usually the truth is somewhere in between, I'll just go ahead and put it here in a good, solid music genre. Part of me wants to put it down here, because on one end, yeah, it's the genre that's, you know, Black Sabbath, the one that started it all, but on the other hand, too, I'd also call it ass because it's mainstream. I hear it everywhere. I hear it everywhere, and I'm sick of hearing it. So I'll just go ahead and find a middle ground and just say good, solid music genre. House. Heard a little bit of it. Sometimes I like it, but most times there's better stuff. IDM, if it's anything like EDM, that electronic dance music, it's ass. I can't stand it. God, that shit gets annoying. You know, and this isn't to be confused with techno. So, but I'm sure techno's gonna be in here somewhere. I'll rate it when I come to it. Industrial hip hop, I never heard of that. Industrial metal, if it's anything like Ministry, and one of my my all-time favorite metal album is Ministry's Filth Pig album, the one that apparently everybody else hated. Well, taking another drink. Industrial rock? Kraftwerk? Yeah, believe it or not, I've never heard of industrial rock. Please try not to laugh. Industrial? The thumbnail is like Eisenberger Wergerharben or something like that. I don't know the actual name. Heard a little tiny bit of it, and jazz fusion. Just based on the thumbnail, jazz as a whole is my all-time favorite music genre, so definitely fucking S tier. Jazz rap. I'm gonna put here. No, believe it or not, um, one of my number 5 on my top 5 favorite albums is Diggable Planets Region. It holds the distinction of being both my favorite rap album and my favorite jazz album. And if they would have had the Diggable Planets thumbnail in here, I'd have said it was fucking. I'd have shot that sucker straight to fucking S tier. But they got A Tribe Called Quest. I mean, they most certainly don't suck, but I don't like them as much as Diggable. So good solid music genre. Krautrock. I'm guessing Kraftwerk could probably fall in here as well. Just gonna say it's good solid. I only heard Kraftwerk. I like them, but I don't revere them or anything like that. But I do have to say, my top 5 albums of all time is a two-way tie for first between The Residents, their commercial album, and New, N-E-U, their very first one. So I mean, if they would have, if the thumbnail, kind of like jazz rap, if the thumbnail would have been New, their very first album, that sucker would have been shot straight to fucking S tier. But yeah, it isn't. I don't know what this is. So it's good solid music genre. Math rock. I heard a little bit of it. They're called like Mudvayne, Mudhole, something like that. Something like dig every day, one more day, or something like that. Based on that, it's alright. Mathcore, never heard of it. Metalcore, never heard of it. Minimalism. I've always heard this being mentioned as an adjective, not a genre. So, on this, if it's anything like ambient, dark ambient, the bad side of them, I'm just gonna say it's ass. Again, I like a cohesive melody and a cohesive rhythm in my music. So, modal jazz. Well, Miles Davis is in it. I'll just go ahead and say it's fucking S tier. But I wish they would have had just plain Jane jazz in here. You know, kind of like what I said about heavy metal. You know, I almost wish they would have had just straight metal. You know, or at the very least classic metal or something. MPB, I never heard of it. Neoclassical, never heard of that. Neo-psychedelia, if they mean, modern day psychedelic music, actually I'd put it up here. I've listened to some, if it's the, I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but if it's what I'm thinking of, then yeah, that's some good stuff. Good laid back stuff, especially if it's instrumental. Neo Soul, never heard of it. Neoclassical Darkwave, I never heard of that. Neo Folk, if it's what I'm thinking, it's fucking S tier. I mean, some of the stuff literally gets me choked up. Some of the stuff they play, if it's what I'm thinking. New Wave, Talking Heads. It's alright. No Wave. If this is Suicide, if the thumbnail, if it's Suicide, I'm gonna assume it is, then yeah, it's some good stuff. Noise Rock. The thumbnail, yeah, good stuff right there. I mean, Sonic, the thumbnail is Sonic Youth's Evol album, Love spelled backwards. Noise Corp. Never heard of it. New metal. Ass. No fan of Limp Bizkit. No fan of Linkin Park. Not. I kind of like Korn. Like maybe like their first album, maybe their second, but this is another it's another genre of music that often gets played at my job. So, no thanks. Pop rap. It sounds like something I'd hear at work. Ass. Pop rock. Post grunge. I never even heard of that. I think all these posts I'm probably going to put up here in the discard pile. Post hardcore. Never heard of that. Post industrial. Never heard of that. Post metal. Post minimalism. They gotta have post classical in here too. Post punk. Post rock. Okay, this I've heard of. Yeah, I gotta. If it's the stuff I'm thinking of, then yeah, it's fucking S tier. Actually, I got a little ahead of myself. Let me move that down one. Some of the post rock, some of the drums are too strong, for lack of a better word. They get a little too rockish. So, power pop. Sounds like is that the White Stripes? The thumbnail? Okay, I gotta check something. Okay, so you guys can see my cursor. Looks like the White Stripes. That being the case, Power Violence? I never heard of that one. Prog metal? I'm gonna go ahead and say it's alright. Prog rock? Trying to think. I don't recognize the thumbnail. I mean, I've heard a fair amount of prog rock. I'll just go ahead and say it's all right. Prog electronic. Sounds kind of redundant. Prog electronic. I mean, prog music is already pretty synthesizer heavy. Then you got electronic on top of it. Like I said, it's kind of redundant. Prog pop. Someone feel free to give me some examples, but really they should have called this Kate Bush. So, based on that, up she goes. But like I said, when it comes to prog pop, I can't really think of anybody else that sounds like Kate Bush. Psychedelic folk. I don't recognize the thumbnail. Psychedelic folk doesn't ring a bell. I mean, if you're talking regular folk music, I'm thinking stuff from back in the 60s. I think everybody was pretty much taking psychedelics back then, except maybe Frank Zappa. So again, kind of a redundant term. Psychedelic pop. Now, psychedelic rock, definitely some good stuff. I mean, just the thumbnail alone. And I'm running out of room, so let me... Oh, damn, I just made it worse. Punk folk. Never heard of that one. Man, I'm running out of room. Punk rock. I'm gonna kind of along the lines of hardcore punk. The aesthetic, the ethics, it's fucking S tier. But the music itself, most of it, I just can't get into. It's ass. You know, again, even I probably could have played some of this stuff. R&B. It's all right. This is kind of a borderline. It's all right and ass. Again, a fair amount of R&B isn't part of the mainstream, so it gets played at my job every day. But on the other hand, too, R&B is about as old as jazz. Like, it goes way back. So I don't want to bring it down to the bottom. Reggae. It's pretty much a genre that goes over my head. So, I mean, I'll listen to it, but there's definitely better stuff out there for me. I'm taking another drink. Rock and Opposition, I never heard of that. Shoegaze. If it's I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure I've heard shoegaze at my job. I'm thinking shoegaze was the name. The name comes from the musicians themselves. A lot of times when they're playing or singing, they're looking down at their shoes and not at the audience. So, yeah, I probably heard some shoegaze music at work. Man, this is really creating problems for me right now. So, singer-songwriter. Based on the thumbnail, which is Tom Waits' Rain Dogs album, definitely up here in the orange. Actually, no, let me bring it down one. It's kind of another hit and miss here. I mean, you got somebody like Tom Waits. Yeah, that stuff is fucking S tier. You know, but then you got somebody like Jewel. I mean, total ass. I mean, especially one of her songs is "Oh, am I standing still, deep inside my twat," or whatever it is she's singing. I've had to hear that song every day since the 90s at work. So, that's the ass tier. So, like I said, a singer-songwriter is pretty much hit and miss. But like I said, right now, Tom Waits is the only one that I can think of at this moment. It's just really awesome, but then there's like other stuff like, again, Jewel. There's probably other, Ani DeFranco, that's another one. Ani DeFranco, fucking S tier. I haven't listened to any of her more modern stuff, but yeah, her classic stuff was fucking awesome. But then, you had like the other singer-songwriters that I probably hear at work. So yeah, that stuff is ass. Ska punk, I kind of know what they're talking about. Okay, No Doubt's one of them. Sublime's another ass. So, it's mainstream stuff. Sludge metal, I never heard of it. Okay, I'm really having a problem right now. Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do. Alright, I'm gonna make a It's Alright, page 2. And then I'm gonna, or hell, I can't even do that. Yeah, that's too much of a mess. So, good God. I'm really running out of room right now. Soul. It's alright. Listen a moment. Sound collage. I'm gonna say it's ass. Again, if there's no cohesive rhythm or melody, I'm not gonna get into it. Southern hip hop. Yeah, I'm having a real problem right now. So I basically have to do this in 2 trips. Bring it up there and then throw it in there. Yeah, this is really becoming problematic. Space rock. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do it like that. I hope you guys can still see it all right. So stoner metal, good stuff. I can't think of any band names, but I have listened to stoner metal. It's like I said, good stuff. Synth Pop, Prince. Based on the thumbnail and the fact that I've never heard of Synth Pop before, but like I said, based on the thumbnail, since I hear Prince almost every day, he's like totally mainstream. I would have put him down here in the ass category, but again, Prince was one of the founding, or I'll just say Prince is a legend. And plus, I've never heard of Synth Pop before. I'll just go ahead and put it up there. Synth Pop. Okay, so this is Kraftwerk. I actually like Kraftwerk a lot, but if they're being classified as Synth Pop, I'll just put it there. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm real torn on this right now. I'll just put it there for right now. Tech Death, I never heard of it. Techno! There we go. I could have just had this. But I'm just gonna say, so Techno, it again kind of like avant-garde. It's really hit and miss. I guess if it's good, it's really good. If it's bad, it's really bad. So. And considering I have IDM down here in the ass category, now that I think about it, put it down here, it's alright. Thrash Metal. This is what I consider Pantera right here. So we could probably this could probably be an ongoing debate right here, but like I said earlier, I grew up thinking I grew up with Pantera being considered thrash metal, not groove metal. So that being said, I'll go ahead and move these two up here to good solid music. Tropicalia, Never heard of it. Um, Trip hop. I know the thumbnail. I've actually played like their very first album. It's all right. It isn't bad, but there's definitely better stuff for me out there. And then we got Electro Acoustic. I've never heard of that. Anti-folk. No freaking idea what that is. So, so, so anti-folk. What is it? Is it like corporate metal? I mean, like, yeah, but like I said, it sounds like a contradiction in terms. Because as far as I know, folk goes back to like the 50s and 60s, and much of it was played in rebellion to the status quo. So I don't know why you'd want to, what the hell anti-folk would be then. And then folk rock. If that's Bob Dylan, I think it is. And again, sounds like a genre that probably gets a fair amount of airplay at my job. Like it's mainstream. Modern classical, that sounds like another contradiction in terms. Never heard of that. Or, let me rephrase it. There's probably still classical music being made to this day, but I've never heard of any of it. American primitivism, never heard of that. Hyperpop, never heard of it. West Coast hip hop. I'm gonna call it ass, but it's gonna be up here at the top. These are the exceptions. I'm not a fan of rap. Not a fan of rap, but you gotta respect them. Like I said, rap is an extension of hip hop, which hip hop itself is actually a culture. It's a lifestyle. So I really wish they wouldn't have coined the terms. They wouldn't have used the names hip hop. I wish they would have went with rap, like they did with here, pop rap. They should have gone with East Coast rap, West Coast rap. They shouldn't be putting hip hop in here at all, because again, hip hop is a culture. It's not a music genre. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Memphis rap. Never heard of it. Never heard of that genre. Trap. I've heard the name. Don't recall me ever hearing any music. Cloud rap. Never heard of that. Tango Nuevo. Never heard of that. Sunshine pop. I'm just gonna go ahead and say never heard of it. There's like one song, like real popular, like I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. If that's classified as sunshine pop, then yeah, it's going straight down to ass. I've had to hear that song most every day ever since the 90s. So no. Third Stream, never heard of it. Spiritual jazz. The thumbnail is Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane's wife. I'm I'll go reluctantly. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in fucking S tier, cause I'm thinking yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it up there. Because I would like to think that spiritual jazz is gonna have a cohesive rhythm and melody, unlike free jazz, where it's just, a rhythm section playing a rhythm, but then you got somebody up front just blowing random stuff on their trumpet or saxophone or whatever they got. Samba. I think I've heard some of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it up there. Bossa Nova. That's alright. Thievery Corporation. Um, definitely going in good solid music genre. That I think that's the thumbnail. Thievery Corporation. I'm taking a drink here. Psychedelic Soul. Never heard of it. Hard bop. It's a type of jazz, so fucking S tier. Slowcore. Never heard of it. Power electronics. Never heard of that. New age. It's again, just like I said about ambient. It's fucking S tier. If you know, if there's like a rhythm, if there's a melody, it's great stuff. You know, it's just some really, really laid back stuff. Just helps me relax. But like I said earlier about the ambient stuff, if it's just stuff, then no, it's ass. Dub. I think I've heard some of this before. It is ass. Oh my god. It's kind of like IDM. It's like the bad side of techno. So, Anarcho-Punk. I'm gonna go ahead and say fucking S tier, just like the punks here. Their ethics and principles, their philosophies, pretty awesome. Stuff I can get into, but I'm guessing the music itself is gonna be terrible. So, Jangle Pop, never heard of it. Indie rock, as a whole, good stuff. Indie folk, as a whole, good stuff. Lo-fi, slacker rock. I'm not sure what. I've heard of lo-fi, but I've never heard of slacker rock. I'll just put it up here. Minimal synth. And never heard of that. Goth rock, The Cure. Yep, that's the thumbnail. It's one of my all-time favorite guitar albums. So I gotta put it up there. Good solid. Trust punk. I never heard of that. Country. This is gonna be one of those where until I can find like outlaw country or old school country, it's ass. I'm no fan of it. Gothic country, I never heard of that. Americana, never heard of that. Gangster rap, ass. Unless it's like the old school stuff, like, I mean, NWA, straight out of Compton. You know, unless it's like the original stuff, maybe that stuff, but again, I'm not a fan of it. You know, throwing bows, slapping hoes, going down to jive with my Colt 45, that kind of thing. No fan of it. Free folk, never heard of it. I mean, it seems like a redundant term. I mean, folk music to me was already implies freedom. It's kind of along the lines of anti-folk. I don't get it. It's like, anyway, moving along. Drum and bass. I might have heard one, maybe two. Yeah, still undecided on that. Deconstructed Club, I never heard of that. Hindustani, classical, never heard of it. Kawali, never heard of that. Raga, never heard of it. Dungeon Synth, you're hearing it now, fucking S tier. Love this stuff. And that's and this is something else that I'm hoping you guys are kind of sensing a theme here in the fucking S tier. This is music that for the most part will never get played on mainstream radio. So So this isn't this isn't just this isn't just straight snobbery or anything like that. You know, some of the stuff down here too. This stuff here, for the most part, the fucking S tier stuff will never ever get played on mainstream radio. Now, again, I'm not some hipster. I'm not being some, you know, intellectual music snob, you know. If it's not jazz music, it's simply inferior. No, it's, you know, it's not, and it's not just straight anti-mainstream. You know, popular music gets played on mainstream, which means it gets played a lot. And to my sorrow, there's actually a lot of music I've heard on the radio over the years that I actually liked. But when they play it every single day, the Clockwork Orange buildup really starts building up, and it gets to a point where I don't want to hear it anymore. So, mainstream radio can take really great music and run it into the ground. So, you know, again, and they play it so much, so often, that it gets to where I'm tired of hearing it. So, like I said, there's, you know, this isn't snobbery. Why I like what I like. You know? So again, all these, I mean, jazz music. I mean, I can't recall the last time I heard jazz music on any mainstream radio. Neo-folk. You ain't gonna hear that on the radio. Black metal. You definitely ain't gonna hear that on mainstream radio. You know, chiptune. Maybe a little tiny bit for a little tiny moment you might hear on mainstream radio. Hard bop. I mean, like I said, all these. And some of these as well, down in the fucking S tier. You ain't gonna hear this on mainstream radio. Some of the stuff in, you know, good solid music genre. One of the reasons why they're up here is a lot of this you're not, but only to a lesser extent, you're not gonna hear on mainstream radio. So, but anyway, let me move along. Okay. So let me pause the music real quick. So the next album is going to be Lamentation, Full Moon over Fairhaven. So more Dungeon Synth. Or I wouldn't even call this Dungeon Synth that much. You'll know what I mean when you hear it. And no big deal there on cutting off the music, because most of this album it's just gonna be piano and organ, and that's it. So, but otherwise that'll do it. That's the list. So, like I said, I hope it wasn't I hope it wasn't too awful for you guys. But otherwise, I gotta go because I still got other stuff I gotta get taken care of. So, but thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate that, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.